everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
And I'm Erica.
And today with Erica, we have an upper intermediate lesson.
That's right, an upper intermediate lesson that's a little bit strange.
It's a little bit strange, but it's a real English lesson because that's what we give you here at English Pod.
So in today's lesson, we've got a lot of really great language for you. We've got language to help you to gossip better.
Gossip. Why don't you explain it a little bit, just in case?
Okay, so if I gossip, I maybe share news or information about other people with my friends. Like I might say something like, Marco, did you see what happened in Chinese pod today? You'll never guess what I saw.
Exactly. That's gossip. And we also have language today to describe things.
To describe strange things.
Strange things. All right, so let's take a look at our vocabulary preview.
Vocabulary preview.
So in our vocabulary preview, we'll look at a few important words that will help you to understand the dialogue a little bit better.
Exactly. And the first word is weird.
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 Now, this is a common word you probably hear all the time and in a lot of different situations. So we wanted to explain it today.
Yeah, this word just means strange.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Weird person is a strange person.
Exactly. But the thing about this word is if you are a young person, let's say under the age of 35, you'll probably use it about 100 times a day.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's just such a good sounding word. Weird.
It is.
Okay, but the thing is that even though it's probably more commonly used in American English, it's still widely used for British English as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but maybe in British English you would say something like
odd.
It's odd.
Yeah.
That's more common. Okay, let's look at our second word. Housewarming gift.
Housewarming gift.
Housewarming gift.
Housewarming gift.
Now, this is a cultural thing. It's really common in North America to give a housewarming gift to someone.
Yeah, if I move into a new house, maybe some of my friends or family will bring a gift over to make my house a little bit more beautiful.
So something like a photo frame or
maybe a plant, or sometimes even like maybe a basket of pastries or something.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
I've never gotten one of those because I don't have a home.
Oh, where do you live? On the street?
Well, I don't have my own home, so I have never gotten one of those.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready now to listen to our dialogue.
So we've got two housewives who are gossiping about what's going on in the neighborhood, and let's listen to what happens.
Oh, I don't know if you've heard, but someone moved into that old house down the road.
Yeah, I know. I met the owner of the house yesterday as he was moving in. His name is Armand.
Really? What's he like? You have to fill me in.
Actually, he's a bit strange. I don't know. I've just got a bad feeling about him.
Really? Why?
Well, yesterday I brought over a housewarming gift, but Armand started acting really weird, and then he practically kicked me out. I tried to sort of peek into his house, but everything was so dark inside that I couldn't really get a good look. The whole thing really creeped me out.
Well, you'll never guess what I saw this morning. A delivery truck pulled into his driveway and it dropped off a long rectangular box. It almost looked like a coffin.
You see? Why would he...
Hello, ladies.
Armand! Oh, you scared the heck out of me. This is my friend Doris.
Pleasure to meet you. If you're not doing anything tonight, I'd like to have you both for dinner. I mean, I'd like to have you both over for dinner.
Ooh, that guy seems kind of weird.
You can hear his voice is like a weird guy, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at our language takeaway and look at some of these great words.
Language takeaway.
So our language takeaway focuses on several words from the dialogue that we feel are really important for you to know.
Exactly, and we have 4 of them for you today. Why don't we look at the first one?
Okay, so the first word is a bad feeling.
Bad feeling.
A bad feeling.
A bad feeling.
So we've got a few examples that will help you to understand how this phrase works.
Example 1.
I don't like Kelly's new boyfriend. I've got a bad feeling about him.
Example 2.
It's so dark. We shouldn't be out here. I've got a bad feeling about this.
Example 3.
I've got a bad feeling about this trip. I feel like something's going to happen. Maybe we shouldn't go.
Okay, so basically you think something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, you have a sort of uncomfortable feeling.
Okay, that makes sense. I have a bad feeling about something.
Exactly.
Okay, let's look at our second word now. Kicked me out.
Kicked me out.
Kicked me out.
Kicked me out.
So when someone kicks you out, it's they force you to leave. You don't want to leave, but they force you to
Yeah. Marco, have you ever kicked someone out of your class?
leave. Yes, I have.
Really?
Yeah. If you misbehave in my class, you're kicked out.
So you're pretty strict, huh?
Well, sometimes I am.
Okay.
Okay, also maybe you've kicked your husband out of bed.
I might have done that once or twice before.
We'll have to ask him. I'm sure he has. All right, so that's what it means. You force someone to leave the house, leave the class, leave the bed.
So kicked out of class, kicked out of the house, kicked out of bed.
Exactly. Great. Let's look at our third word now. Creeped me out.
Creeped me out.
Creeped me out.
Creeped me out.
Now, this is a really common phrase.
I like this phrase a lot, and we've got some examples for you to listen to help you understand this word a little bit better.
The second
Example
paragraph
1.
of the dialogue.
Did you hear that? Oh, I think I saw something.
Stop it. You're really creeping me out.
Example 2.
This place really creeps me out. Let's get out of here.
All right, well, I have a confession to make. I'm kind of creeped out by clowns.
You are?
Yes, I don't know. They're just creepy. They scare me. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, so-
What is it about clowns that scare you so much?
I don't know. They're just white faces and weird paint. I don't know. It's just creepy. And the way they laugh. Oh, I don't know. No.
Maybe you had a bad experience with clowns as a child.
Probably. I watched a scary movie about clowns or something.
Yeah.
All right.
So creeped me out basically means made me feel uncomfortable.
Yes, it scares you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of being scared, we have our final word for language takeaway, and it is scared the heck out of me.
You scared the heck out of me.
Scared the heck out of me.
You got really scared.
Yeah, I think this is a quite common way of saying, you really, really scared me.
Yeah. Okay, we're ready to listen to our dialogue again. Now, try and see if you can catch all these phrases that we just talked about.
Oh, I don't know if you've heard, but someone moved into that old house down the road.
Yeah, I know. I met the owner of the house yesterday as he was moving in. His name is Armand.
Really? What's he like? You have to fill me in.
Actually, he's a bit strange. I don't know. I've just got a bad feeling about him.
Really? Why?
Well, yesterday I brought over a housewarming gift, but Armand started acting really weird, and then he practically kicked me out. I tried to sort of peek into his house, but everything was so dark inside that I couldn't really get a good look. The whole thing really creeped me out.
Well, you'll never guess what I saw this morning. A delivery truck pulled into his driveway and it dropped off a long rectangular box. It almost looked like a coffin.
You see? Why would he...
Hello, ladies.
Ah, Armand, you scared the heck out of me. This is my friend Doris.
A pleasure to meet you. If you are not doing anything tonight, I would like to have you both for dinner. I would like to have you both over for dinner.
You know, one of the things I really like about this dialogue is there's a lot of great phrases that will help you to gossip.
That's a good observation. So I think it's time for Fluency Builder.
The
Fluency
second
Builder.
paragraph of the dialogue.
In Fluency Builder, we take a simple phrase or a simple word you already know and show you how to express the same idea a little bit more naturally.
Okay, great. So let's take a look at our first item for Fluency Builder.
So when you gossip with somebody, you often tell them news or information that they don't know already. And you might start by saying, "Did you know that?"
Or you can say, "Did you hear?"
Yeah, both of those phrases are perfectly fine, but if you want to sound a little bit more native-like when you're gossiping, you might try out this phrase from the dialogue.
I don't know if you've heard.
Yeah, that's a really good phrase. You're saying exactly the same thing, but in a really natural way.
It's a great one for gossiping. So, Marco, I don't know if you've heard, but Chinese pod is up to some pretty crazy things.
See, that's exactly how you would use that phrase. So now let's take a look at our second item. Now, when you're gossiping, you want information.
That's right. So you might say, "Oh, tell me about it."
Or something like, "Give me the details."
Yeah, and again, both of these examples are perfectly fine, but when you're gossiping, you might want to try something like this.
You have to fill me in. You have to fill me in.
Fill me in. Yeah, that's what I would say. Fill me in, give me the details. Fill me in.
Fill me in on today's gossip.
Okay, so let's take a look at our third item. Now, if you have some juicy, gossipy news,
And you want to start up a conversation, you might use this phrase here.
Well, you'll never guess what I saw this morning. Well, you'll never guess what I saw this morning.
that's a really good phrase. You can change it a little bit. You can say, "You'll never guess who I saw."
Or "You'll never guess what I heard."
Exactly.
Very excellent gossip phrases.
We're teaching you how to gossip because that's real English.
People really do it, so you got to know the language for it. All right, so enough of our gossip. I think it's time for us to listen to the dialogue one last time.
Oh, I don't know if you've heard, but someone moved into that old house down the road.
Yeah, I know. I met the owner of the house yesterday as he was moving in. His name is Armand.
Really? What's he like? You have to fill me in.
Actually, he's a bit strange. I don't know. I've just got a bad feeling about him.
Really? Why?
Well, yesterday I brought over a housewarming gift, but Armand started acting really weird, and then he practically kicked me out. I tried to sort of peek into his house, but everything was so dark inside that I couldn't really get a good look. The whole thing really creeped me out.
Well, you'll never guess what I saw this morning. A delivery truck pulled into his driveway and it dropped off a long rectangular box. It almost looked like a coffin.
You see? Why would he...
Hello, ladies.
Armand! Oh, you scared the heck out of me. This is my friend Doris.
Pleasure to meet you. If you're not doing anything tonight, I'd like to have you both for dinner. I mean, I'd like to have you both over for dinner.
Okay, Marco, I have a true story for you.
Is it kind of like a creepy story?
It is a creepy story indeed.
Is it a true story?
No, it's really true. So
Okay.
when I was young, I used to live in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And, in the country, all of the neighbors know each other. It's a small community, so everyone knows what's happening all the time.
Okay.
And there was some gossip going on in our community about a guy who lived at the end of the road.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the owner of a car wrecking yard. So a place where you take old broken down cars and take the parts apart to sell.
Right.
And anyway.
A scrapyard.
Yeah, a scrapyard.
All right.
Okay, so, he had a wife and a couple of kids, and suddenly his wife disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah. And no one knew what happened or anything. And so several years pass, and suddenly the police start coming in and start investigating this guy and start digging up all of the land around his property. And I don't know what they're doing, but I think they were looking for the wife's body.
Wow. And did they find it?
I don't know, I moved away.
Ah, such a great story, but we don't know how it ends.
Yeah, well,
Well, we can leave it up to the imagination of our listeners.
exactly.
Maybe they were looking for an old car.
An old car buried in the ground. I don't think so.
All right, that's a true story. Real English, real stories.
You
There
heard
go.
it first here on English Pod.
All right. So we want to hear your comments and suggestions about this topic. I bet a lot of our listeners also have creepy stories, maybe ghost stories, maybe, I don't know, different types of weird stories. So you guys should definitely log on to English Pod and share them with us.
That's right. Go to EnglishPod.com and in the comments section of the website, tell us your creepy stories.
And we're going to pick out the best story as the story of the week.
We'll announce it in our This Just In podcast.
Yes, so we want to hear all your juicy stories and gossip maybe as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, it's time for us to go. So be sure to listen to us next time. But until then, it's
Bye-bye.
bye.
Other examples.
Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive? Today, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of gossip. Well, actually, the language of gossip.
Ooh, sounds juicy.
It is. We're dissecting an episode from English Pod, the one all about how to dish the dirt in English. And you know what? It's way more fascinating than just saying, like, he did what.
Vocabulary preview. So what's the angle here? Is it all grammar rules and stuff?
Nope. That's what's so cool. It's about how people actually talk when they're gossiping, real-life situations.
You know. Gotcha. So, like, what kind of real-life situation are we talking about?
Well, the episode sets up this scene with, get this, two housewives gossiping about their new neighbor. Mysterious new neighbor. Gotta emphasize that.
Housewives gossiping. Classic. Sounds like my kind of reality TV.
Right. But it works perfectly because we get to see how they use language to be curious, suspicious, maybe a little judgmental too, all that good stuff.
The human element, right. Makes it relatable.
Exactly. Now, one phrase that really grabbed me was, "You have to fill me in." Just pulls you right in. Way more than a boring, "What happened?"
I can see that. It's like you're not just asking, you're practically demanding the gossip. Like it's vital information.
Totally. It puts the emphasis on how much you need to know.
Yeah.
Like it's a matter of life or death, almost.
And it kind of puts the person with the info in the driver's seat, doesn't it? Like they hold all the cards.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Speaking of juicy info, the episode also had this funny bit about the words weird versus odd, how they're used to describe this new neighbor. And it got me thinking, is there really a difference?
There is actually. They both describe something unusual, obviously, but weird. It's got this like stronger vibe, almost a creepy edge sometimes.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
Odd is more neutral, you
Right.
know, just a bit out of the ordinary, like, that's odd, but not necessarily a bad thing.
Interesting. So context matters a lot.
Totally. Remember that example from the episode, something about the neighbor getting a coffin-shaped package?
Yes, that's the one. And the speaker used weird to describe it.
Exactly. Makes you wonder, was that choice deliberate? You know, to make the neighbor seem even more suspicious, like adding fuel to the gossip fire.
It's like they're low-key trying to influence how you see the neighbor.
Right. Subtle manipulation through language. Pretty powerful stuff.
It is. And it reminds us that we're not, like, encouraging anyone to become a gossip master or anything.
But being aware of these things helps you understand what's really going on in a conversation.
Exactly. Like having a secret decoder ring for everyday talk. Figuring out the subtext, the hidden messages.
Reading between the lines.
Yes. Okay, another phrase that stood out. You'll never guess.
Yeah.
Classic. An attention grabber, for sure.
Oh, it's tried and true. A guaranteed way to pique someone's curiosity. You're setting them up for a surprise, making them lean in and wait for the big reveal.
And they used it perfectly in that episode, right before revealing the whole coffin-shaped package thing.
Oh, absolutely. Masterful.
It makes you wonder, what could be so shocking that I'd never guess?
Right. Suddenly you're hooked on the story, even if you weren't that interested before.
It's like a magic trick, almost. And it works every time.
It does. It's like turning a passive listener into an active one. Engaged, eager. What about you, listener? Have you ever been on the receiving end of that phrase? How did it make you feel?
Dialogue.
Did you hang on to every word?
I know, I have. And yeah, it definitely works on me. But gossip isn't always about harmless curiosity, right? Sometimes it's about those uneasy feelings, like when something just feels off. The English Pod episode touched on that too, with phrases like creeped me out, or I had a bad feeling.
Ah, yes, because those go beyond just saying something strange. It's tapping into a gut feeling, a visceral reaction that something's not right.
Especially creeped me out. It's like you can almost feel it, that shivery sensation.
Like a horror movie when the music starts to swell and you just know something bad is about to jump out.
Exactly. Have you ever felt that, listener? That sense of dread, even if you can't explain why.
It's primal, I think, like an instinct we inherited from our ancestors, warning us of danger. And it's fascinating that we have specific phrases for it, you know? It shows how deeply ingrained these feelings are in our language and how we communicate.
We don't just think something's creepy, we feel it. And then we need the words to express that.
Right, as part of being human.
Now, in the episode, they use "creeps me out" to talk about the new neighbor's behavior. And again, it makes you wonder, are they being sincere? Or are they trying to make the neighbor look bad on purpose?
Ah, there's that intention question again. Because gossip can be used in so many ways, right? From innocent information sharing to straight-up manipulation.
Important to remember that. And to be a critical listener, always question what you're hearing and why the person might be telling you this.
Agreed. But maybe that's a deep dive for another day.
Definitely. For now, let's stick with how we can use these phrases to spice up our own conversations. Make them more interesting, more engaging.
More gossip-worthy, you mean?
Well, maybe just a little bit.
It's amazing how, like, one little phrase can take a boring story and make it, boom. Suddenly everyone's on the edge of their seats. And this episode, it's like a whole cool box full of those phrases.
I know, right? Like, we've all been there. You want to share something exciting, but you don't want to just blurt it out.
Needs finesse.
Exactly. And the English Pod episode is full of ideas for how to do that. One of them is, I don't know if you've heard. Seems simple, right? But there's more to it.
Oh, way more. It's like you're giving the listener a little wink, a nudge, saying, I got some good stuff here. Creates that feeling of, like, we're in this together, sharing a secret.
Totally. Like you're both part of some exclusive club. Way better than just saying, oh, by the way.
Totally changes the vibe, sets the stage for something interesting.
For sure. It's like whispering, even if you're in a noisy room. Listener, think about it. How often do you hear that phrase? Do you use it? Bet you do.
Bet you do. It's everywhere, but we don't always notice it. And speaking of phrases we don't always notice, they revisited "you have to fill me in."
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Like, I'm dying to know all the details.
It's more than just wanting info, though. It's about showing how much you care. Like, I'm invested in this story. Give me everything.
And it puts the spotlight on the storyteller.
Oh, yeah. Like, I'm ready. Spill the tea.
Creates that anticipation.
Yeah.
And if you really want to amp up the drama, you got to use "you'll never guess what I saw" or "heard." It's like a gasp, but with words.
The ultimate cliffhanger. Instantly makes you want to know what happens next. Humans are wired to be curious, you know, especially about the unexpected.
And it's so versatile. You could use it for, like, celebrity gossip, neighborhood drama. You'll never guess who I saw at the supermarket. Or you'll never guess what I overheard at work.
Endless possibilities. It's like injecting excitement into any conversation. Makes the ordinary seem extraordinary.
Because everyone wants to be in the know, to have that inside scoop.
Exactly. It's like holding a golden ticket to the world of gossip. And it's funny how all these phrases, they seem so simple, but they tell us a lot about why we gossip in the first place.
Ooh, that's deep. You're saying it's not just about the words themselves, but what they represent.
Right. Language isn't just about sharing information. It's about creating a shared experience, connecting with people, navigating those tricky social situations.
And maybe even having a little fun along the way.
Of course.
Gotta have fun.
It makes you appreciate how much thought goes into conversation, you know, all these little cues and phrases that make it more interesting, more memorable.
Like we're all actors on a stage, using language to create our own little dramas.
It really makes you think about all the layers beneath a simple conversation.
It does. You know, thinking about that English Pod episode, it sparked an idea. What if we flip things around
The
and put
second
you,
paragraph
the
of the
listener,
dialogue.
in the storyteller's seat?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. We've been talking about how these gossipy phrases work, but now, time to put them into practice.
Right. So, listener, think about a time when something strange, unsettling happened to you. Could be anything, really.
Like a weird encounter on the street, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a mysterious noise in your house. Anything that gave you that, what was that feeling?
Got that moment in mind. Okay, now imagine telling a friend about it. How would you use those phrases we've talked about to make it a really gripping story?
Would you start off casual? Like, I don't know if you've heard, but setting the stage for something juicy.
Or maybe jump right in with the dramatic, "You'll never guess what happened to me."
Oh, that's good. Don't forget about building suspense, too. How would you describe everything? Remember those creeped me out phrases? Make your friend feel like they were right there with you, experiencing the whole thing?
Ooh, yeah. Paint that picture. Here's a challenge. Try retelling the story a few different ways. Experiment, What if you use weird instead of odd? Does it change the mood?
I bet it does. It's like playing with language. Makes you a more confident storyteller, a more engaging communicator in general. Who knows, maybe you'll discover you've got a real talent for it.
Because at the end of the day, gossip, it's a form of storytelling, isn't it? Connects us, intrigues us, helps us figure out the world around us. And sometimes it's just plain fun.
Exactly. So listener, go out there and embrace the art of gossip. Responsibly, of course. Pay attention to how people use these phrases in real life, and next time something strange happens.
Don't just brush it off. Turn it into a story.
A story that everyone will want to hear. And that wraps up another deep dive. Until next time.